I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
if Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Yeah, this video we are going to be talking about Henry Cavill and some of his comments on Justice League and that infamous mustache.
Or Mustache. For some reason, in the quote, they changed the spelling of mustache. They call it a mustache.
Ah.
Instead of they add an O on it now. Ooh.
I
Anyway.
guess to add some little emphasis on the mustache.
Yeah. That's what it is. Fucking lame ass motherfuckers. Anyway, so Henry Cavill, he's been breaking his silence over the CGI removal of his mustache in Justice League. So in a new interview with Empire magazine that we cannot find for some reason, usually we always go back to the source. And when you look for this interview, I feel like this is another April Fool's joke. We'll see what happens, but I can't seem to find it. So I guess we're relying on these awesome clickbait websites to get our little jollies here on what Cavill has to say about his mustache removal.
Yeah, so on that, these could be taken out of context, but we're going to talk about them anyways. So it's, we'll see. Like as Matt said, we weren't able to find the full interview anywhere online. Anything that pops up for us that was an interview with Empire magazine is from when Man of Steel came out. So we'll do what we can, but we're just gonna read from, as Matt said, these clickbait websites.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Screen Rant or Heroic Hollywood. Anyway, so Cavill weighing in on the debacle, saying he was slightly surprised over the whole hubbub. To begin with, the actor said he never anticipated such a weird set of circumstances falling into place. He says, "When we decided to go for the mustache, I certainly wasn't expecting all of the events to unfold as they were going to unfold. I wasn't expecting Justice League reshoots to be as extensive as they were. When it came to that, it was one of those things where I'm in the middle of another movie, and to change my look for the movie that should have finished already becomes a real problem."
There is no Zack Snyder cut.
That's actually a great point, Shane. That is a great point.
Clearly was fucking saying, oh yeah, it should have finished already. I was done filming. There is no Zack Snyder cut. All right, yeah, all right, jerk-offs.
Suck a dick. All right.
Moving right along.
And as you will see, there is a Zack Snyder cut. No. As you will see, when the movie comes out, to have a fake mustache on would not have been a possibility. You'll think, okay, yeah, a fuck mustache. This is the 70s, son. A fake mustache would perhaps have been blown off in the situation. Unfortunately.
You want to play me hard?
Phrasing. You know I do.
Well, then you better nut up.
Phrasing.
Because I've swallowed just about as much as I can take from you.
Hey, phrasing.
Led to much dismay when Justice League came out, but that's the nature of things. You can't win every time.
No, you can't when a fuck mustache is being blown off. Sorry, that was just funny. I was trying not to laugh in the background as you were finishing that. Silence.
Oh, the maturity level is high. Anyway,
true.
So I just these certain things, these certain points in here are just crazy. What he's saying, not crazy. It's kind of what we knew in some sense, but it does confirm that some of these clickbait websites were right when they were talking about how extensive the reshoots were. I mean, we could tell that now after we saw the movie, but
yeah,
when it was happening, we're like, oh, you're over exaggerating things. This is just normal. I mean, you had a lot of people coming out in the defense of, like, you had like Patty Jenkins coming out saying that there's no way they could reshoot the whole movie and shit like that. Gal Gadot's pregnant, Ben's in rehab. I mean, you had all these factors where you're like, okay, it can't be physically possible for them to reshoot this whole movie. But I think what really happened is they waited till the last second.
Can we ask you some questions?
Holy Jesus.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
You one ugly motherfucker.
Or some shit like that stuck to his face because they tried to remove a mustache last minute. And then of course, as Shane said, a movie that should have finished already becomes a real problem. As Shane said, the Snyder Cut. It sounds like Henry was under the impression that he was pretty much done with the movie. Well, I mean, that kind of answers it for you right then and there. WB just really screwed the pooch on this one. Yeah,
it really seems like there were only a couple people in on the amount of reshoots that there were going to be. And I would assume it's an executive from WB, whoever you want to handpick.
A guy that wears a hat.
Yeah, exactly. And Joss Whedon. And then once they started incorporating everything, Henry Cavill obviously was like, well, I didn't think that there was going to be this many reshoots. Everyone is a little taken aback, and as you said, it was probably all last minute, and they just crammed as many reshoots as possible, pretty much at least half of the movie, and decided to go in a completely different direction. And I'm sure most of the actors were probably thinking the same thing as Henry Cavill, like, holy shit, I didn't think we were going to reshoot this much. So, there you have it. But obviously, at least all of the filming was done, and there's probably just some post stuff that for Zack Snyder's cut anyways that needed to be finished. So that one line there, that one sentence pretty much confirms that. Oh, I thought we were done. So
yeah, but there is no Snyder cut. Anyway, that was just funny. That was great. Let us know in the comments what you think of Henry Cavill's comments about Justice League and how everything went down. And apparently Chris McQuarrie, the guy that did the director for Mission Impossible, it says a fake mustache don't stay on at 100 miles an hour. And I'm like, a CGI one does? What the fuck? Are they literally going to glue one to his face? Like, I don't know. It just...
sounds like a cop-out.
It just... Yeah. And this guy is going to be the possible director of Man of Steel 2? No.
Right.
But
yeah, it sounds like, to quote Lois Lane, they were measuring dicks. And basically, who was it? Paramount said, our dick is bigger, so you're going to have to fucking spend a shit ton of money to CGI that off. And congratulations, it blew up in your face.
Kibosh your whole movie.
Yeah. So there's one other piece of this article. This comes from comicbook.com.
Real quick. So on comicbook.com, they have an advertisement on top. And right now they're showing Cobra Kai. And I hate to interject this in the middle of this, but I watched the Cobra Kai series on YouTube Red. And all you have to do is sign up for the free membership, cancel it right afterwards. It's fucking phenomenal. I don't know how old you have to be in order to really appreciate this movie, but fucking Johnny is on it, all right? And he's what fucking everybody should be, and I love this fucking show. It buys it back at... No spoilers, but it kind of buys a little bit back at the end, and I was a little pissed off at the end. But other than that, fucking phenomenal show. Watch Cobra Kai on YouTube Red. It's got my certification. I don't know if you have to be old enough to really appreciate it or not. I'm 30, so... but pretty much, if you're kind of in my wheelhouse of, of jokes and shit and how things should go down, hell yeah. When he breaks the kid's inhaler, and he's like, there is no asthma, no peanut allergies, none of that fake shit in my dojo. Wow. That's what it's all about.
Nice. Yeah, have not watched it, but I've heard some awesome things about it. So you're just putting your stamp of approval as well.
Okay, anyway, so back to the article.
Okay, so the next article comes from comicbookmovie.com, and the title is Henry Cavill talks extensive Justice League reshoots, ridiculous marketing, and negative response. Some of this we already read from, Heroic Hollywood. The other part we want to talk about, that's in this article, it says, when the interviewer put it to Cavill that everyone knew Superman was going to be in the movie, despite him being absent from all the marketing materials, the British actor acknowledged how silly that is, but pointed out that there's not necessarily anything wrong with keeping secrets from regular moviegoers. So the quote is, yeah, right there with no mustache at the very beginning of the movie. Henry Cavill laughs. Well, that whole concept was faintly ridiculous, and I honestly believe everyone viewed it as such. Of course, if I'm on the press tour, I'm in the movie. Obviously, you knew, and that was a different little tap dance. We danced together. But for the audience, I wanted to leave some mystery. I think it's important to have some mystery in movies these days.
So I feel like that sentence, that paragraph is very contradictory. I can't quite follow if he's saying it is silly and stupid and ridiculous that he wasn't in there, or is it's good? Because then he puts, I wanted to leave some mystery. I think it's important to have some mystery in movies these days. So I guess either was he trying to say go all in on that idea or don't? Because like he was on these press tours and shit. It seems like a very contradictory statement.
Yeah, I think that's also part of the issue. If that's a complete excerpt from the interview, it's part of the issue with us not being able to read the full interview itself. But yeah, right. I agree. I would say, and this is just my opinion, and we've talked about it before on the show, that if he is saying you should have gone all in, I'm on the press tour, you obviously know I'm in the movie. You know, that part's a little ridiculous, but I wanted to leave some mystery. I agree with that. I always said that I think it would have been more fun had Superman been completely removed from everything. So you don't have a hot toy. Maybe once after the movie comes out, then you start putting some toys out or something. I know a lot of it has to be done beforehand, so I'm not saying that that's exactly possible. But I always felt like,
well, they've done that before. They've done that before. They released Last Jedi hot toys after the movie, or not Last Jedi, Force Awakens. They like had Rey with a lightsaber, and it came out after the movie came out because spoilers. So they can get them done, but they don't have to release them.
Yeah. So I always felt that they should have gone all in and completely had everyone thinking like, holy shit, Superman's not going to be in a Justice League movie, and almost kind of irritated for that. At that whole thing, and built it up and not have him in any of the trailers, not show any of those things, make it a point. Superman is not going to be in this movie, and leave people thinking like, oh, what's going to happen? So he's not going to be in this movie. Is he going to come back in the next movie? And have them thinking, and then boom, right when you watch it, you're like, holy shit. Similar to, I mean, obviously a lot bigger of an impact, but similar to the Doomsday thing. You leave Doomsday completely out, and when you see Doomsday first time in the movie, maybe it's not shit on as much. Who knows? I mean, that's all hindsight, but I always
the preconceived notion that it looked like a cave troll already.
Yeah, a lot of memes and stuff like that, and the fact that once you saw Doomsday in Batman v Superman in the trailers, you knew Superman was going to die. If you know anything, if you've read any of the comic books, read Death of Superman, saw the cartoon, you knew that he was going to die as soon as Doomsday shows up. So you keep him out, and then that has a bigger impact, in my opinion. Right. Superman dying, then you leave him out of everything, out of all the marketing materials, out of everything, and people are going, damn, they might actually keep him dead, similar to the comics. They kept him dead for a while. I can't remember the exact length, but I want to say it was at least a year. They were just publishing different comics and things, and then it gets a little out there. They start incorporating
with the Superboy, the Steel.
Exactly. So that stuff starts happening, but at the same time, they left him out of the comic books, and then so once he came back, it was like, oh, holy shit, it was actually a thing. So either you leave him out of Justice League and have him in Justice League 2, had they stuck to Snyder's vision.
See, that's what I was gonna say. Go ahead, but.
Like I was saying, or just if you have it in one movie, then he just isn't shown, and then it's a surprise. Then people were like, oh, and maybe it's somewhat speculation. No, I think he is going to show up in this, but you have people talking instead of actually introducing him. He has a poster and stuff like that, and you're like, ah, shit, he's on the Cups. Remember, Tim was making fun of me for saying, why is he on the Cups?
Oh no, not the Cups.
Yeah, oh no, not the Cups. So go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, that's my thing. Like, this would have been really impactful if they had Justice League 2, because then it would have made you think, like, is he really going to be in Justice League Part 1? Or are they going to save him for Part 2? Because that's what I would have been speculating like crazy. Like, if they didn't have him on a lot of things and shit like that, I would have been like, I wonder if he's even in the movie, or he's like the very end, or he's a villain, because why would you have you're not going to push and advertise your villain necessarily.
Right.
I think that was kind of like a plan, but then when Justice League 2 got kiboshed, I think somehow those plans kind of still stayed in there of keeping him hidden-ish, And then just no one realized that, like, oh, well, this is going to be Justice League, and then there's no Justice League 2, and there's not going to be no follow-up to this, because then it's Aquaman, Shazam afterwards and everything. So everybody's kind of like, well, of course he's coming back. And, like, of course, then he has to come back then in this one, because this is it. They're not going to have him come back in a Man of Steel 2 or something, because then that's kind of a dead giveaway, pun intended. So I don't know. I guess I feel like that was the original concept, the original idea. And I think it just kind of got left out there after they already kiboshed the second one.
That could be. That definitely makes a lot of sense, that Warner Brothers just decided to push it all together. So part of it was, oh, we're going to leave them out. And then when they said, no, we're going to just go with one Justice League, they just smushed it all together and said, oh, no, you're going to be in some of the posters, but not in all of them. And, and then after the movie comes out, oh, look, he's in the movie. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Thanks for releasing the extra poster now with him on it, even though he was in everything else. So that definitely could be a possibility. Maybe they were going to go all in and not have him on anything, and then eventually they just merged it together. So he's on the press tour, and, I thought the concept was pretty cool and something different. I always thought some of the marketing that was done, like with Man of Steel, was pretty awesome, even with Batman v Superman. So if they would have kept with like a solid marketing approach with this, who knows if it would have, I mean, we're speculating on everything. Who knows if it would have changed anything at all, but I think it would have been cool. And I do think maybe just reading it, that's what Henry Cavill might be talking about is, that is faintly ridiculous, and everyone viewed it as that. He was on the press tour and stuff, but just delve into it, go completely into this. Don't have me do anything, any type of marketing. That sounds like what he's saying to me.
So last little paragraph here in this article, the writer says, talk inevitably turned to poor critical response Justice League received, and Cavill chose his words carefully. And Cavill says, I think all these things have their place and their time, he says. There are many reasons why the audience have responded in the way they responded. It's all lessons learned. So much you can make about that. Like, just there is so much to chew on that. Like, you could just speculate like crazy from what he's saying there. But I think maybe we'll just leave it at that, of what he's just saying, because first, of course, he's giving the half-baked answer of there's a place and there's a time, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm. I believe he's actually given that before. I want to say maybe with Batman v Superman.
Yeah. Well, you remember, he used to have one where the quote was, WB has made the right mistakes.
Yeah.
And now they've learned their lessons.
What it is. Yeah.
And that was before Justice League.
Yeah, that's right.
And now it's all lessons learned. So he's changing it up now.
Yeah.
I like Henry Cavill a lot. He seems like a cool dude for the most part, and he's a great Superman for the most part, except for the Justice League parts, some Justice League parts. But I don't know, man. This dude just seems to jump ship whenever he can. I don't know. Sometimes
it's hard to, like you said. At this point, it's all speculation with what he could mean by that. Maybe he means lessons learned for taking something away from Snyder, and we should have finished this vision.
That's true.
It all really depends. I was a little concerned when he was now piggybacking on like, oh, I think Joss Whedon and I can make a great Superman together. I thought he did great things. Like, what the fuck? That was definitely jumping ship. And I think instead of, he got tired of defending Snyder's vision like he did with Batman v Superman. And he was like, yeah, this is a sinking ship. Yeah, I would just want to play Superman. So whatever Superman you want to release. And I get it. I can understand that. But that was a little concerning. So this quote could either go either way for me. Either he's saying lessons learned that don't have Zack Snyder do that. We need to have a light Superman. Or he's saying lessons learned, you fucked up. And now it just cost you a solid Justice League movie by bringing in Joss Whedon and doing all these reshoots and the stupid mustache and all sorts of the crap that went along with it.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's kind of what it could mean. It could mean a lot of things, really. It really could. So I think that's going to conclude our little discussion about Henry Cavill's comments. Justice League news. Will it ever end? Probably not. I think there's always going to be something that comes out. And again, like I said before, whenever someone has an opportunity to pull off some kind of legit documentary on this series of Justice League, from BVS to Justice League, it's going to be interesting. It's a telling thing. I don't know. I would love to know what went down. I mean, everybody already blames Jeff Johns and Kevin Tsujihara and all that stuff for, and then of course Whedon taking it upon himself to taking liberties and so forth. And you hear all that, but I mean, was it? Who knows? You never know. Sometimes it could be something as simple as, hey, let's just try something different. And they tried, let's make it like Marvel. That's it.
Yeah.
There maybe no bad ambitions, nothing like that. But they were just like, desperate, and let's just make it like Marvel. Let's try it. I don't know. Sometimes. Who knows? In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. All these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.